Hi, so today we have Chris Paton talking about his recently published book, Purposeful People. Hi, Chris, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you, Philippa. Very well. How are you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. So thank you for talking to us today. We were just wondering, what is the motivation behind your book?
I dislike it when people struggle with life in general or aspects of their lives. I find it hard when people are struggling or are finding things tough. And it's just my nature to want to try and pick them up if I can and help however I can. That's essentially my own purpose. And it's difficult to do that when we're in the environment we're in at the moment of so much going on in the world where people are struggling, sometimes around employment or family or isolation or homeschooling or anything else. And I felt like the book was a way in which I could try and reach as many people simultaneously and help in a small way as I could. Far more people to be helped than if I was to try and do it by myself.
Thanks, Chris. So why did you decide to write the book now?
I'm approaching 49 years old, and I think that it's only honestly in the last 18 months to 2 years that I've really worked out who I am and become comfortable with who I am, not who I was wanting to be or trying to be. And it struck me that in conversations I've been having with other people, particularly because of the situation we find ourselves in right now across the globe, that lots of people are feeling anxious, a bit unnerved, and were trying to work out what was going on and who they were and where they were going to go next. So it seemed to me to be the right time to put together a book that would help other people in the same way as I have had help over the last couple of years.
What new insights have you drawn from the book yourself?
What's been interesting for me is connecting the dots. So I have in the past looked at things around purpose. I have done reading around mindfulness, around a healthy lifestyle, around psychological safe spaces, around being kind to yourself before you can be kind to others. And it's only really through putting this book together with the 19 other authors that I've realized that it's all connected and that all of these different facets have to be in place for it to come to a whole. I think I'd previously been looking at all of this as separate independent pieces, that if I dealt with that piece, it would help. But actually, it's only when you put all of it together that it really works. In putting together the book, I went to 19 people who have helped me to understand who I am, who have helped me become more comfortable with myself. And I asked them to write a chapter about what they think, about what they believe. And what's been interesting for me and the insight I've gained from that is that actually, when I look at it, it's the combination of all of those different perspectives put together that has helped me. So there has been a bit around being much more mindful of where I am and being kind to myself, of thinking about how I sleep, of my health, but also around my personal purpose, but also around behaving and living values, of being innovative and creative. And so the book has come together as a whole, drawn from the people that have been hugely important to me over the last years in helping me come to where I am.
Thank you. What would you say, do you have a favourite anecdote from the book?
It would be very unfair and decidedly unpolitic of me to pick out an individual author from within the book, or a particular anecdote. But I think there is one aspect that comes across, I think, which is that finding purpose doesn't always come from a singular event. For many, it can take a number of years and searching within ourselves before we become clear on what impact we want to make in the world. And that's one of the quotes drawn from the book that I think sums the book up nicely.
Thanks. So what are the common threads you see in the book?
That regardless whether you are looking at yourself or whether you are looking at yourself as part of a team or being a team leader, or whether you're looking at it from an organizational perspective and how you function as part of that organization, I think the thread that runs through the whole book is that this is about who I am, not what I do. And I think that what I do and how I do it should be driven by who I am, what it is about me that makes me. And most of the authors across virtually all of the chapters touch on that in some way. That instead of what we do defining who we are, and we do this activity to create something about who we are, actually by understanding ourselves, by understanding within who we are and who we want to be as people, that then drives what we do. And it sounds such a simple answer, and maybe I'm not the brightest person, but that was a real light bulb moment for me, absolutely.
Thank you, Chris. We just have one final question for you. What can other leaders learn from these stories in the book?
Well, I think the nice thing about this book is that it looks at how we can become better people, how we can gain insights into a less stressful life and a more meaningful life, and really contributing to what's important to ourselves from lots of different perspectives. There are 20 different perspectives. So people can pick up the book and focus on a particular area if they want to. If they want to look at something around self, then there are 5 or 6 chapters that deal with that issue of self, of my own purpose, of me, of resilience, of my health, and that side of things. If people are more concerned around teams and safe space, psychological safe space for courageous conversations, difficult conversations, that side of things, or living values and working within values, then there's areas of that. And the book isn't a story which starts at chapter 1 and ends at chapter 20, and you must read from 1 to 20 in order to get the sense of the book. It's been deliberately designed as 20 views on having purpose, being purposeful, how that can really make a difference to your life. So any leader can pick up any book and think, what is it that I struggle with? What is it that I find challenging? And then they can go straight to that chapter or that series of chapters in the book that address that particular area. And so it makes it very time efficient for busy readers.
Thank you very much for your time, Chris. That's really interesting. And we'll put a link below on where you can buy the book, Purposeful People.
Thank you very much.